Founded in the year 1968, the German Aid to Tibetans pursues exclusively and directly charitable welfare purposes. When China occupied Tibet in the year 1950, forcing tens of thousands of Tibetans in exile, the youngest and the oldest were hit the hardest, like during any other emergency situations. The German Aid to Tibetans extended its helping hand in ensuring Tibetan children grow up in security with confidence and receive a sound education, and help the elderly Tibetans who were the foundation that keeps traditions and stories alive. Heidi Meyer began working with the German Aid to Tibetans in year 1981. She served as the board member and later as its president since the year 2009. Today, taking the opportunity of her visit to Dharamshala, we welcome you to In Conversation with Tibettv, featuring Heidi Meyer. Tashtele Heidi. So, yeah, thank you for coming. Many of us know and are grateful for the aids that we Tibetans received from the German Aids to Tibetans and continue to receive them. But I'm sure that there are many or some of the young Tibetans, younger generations, who have heard of German Aid to Tibetans but do not know much of it, right? So would you like to introduce the work that the German Aid to Tibetans do?
Yes, of course. It was the intention that the founders of our organization visit once TCV in Dharamshala and Tibet in her home foundation in Mussoorie, and saw these children waiting for education. It was still started schools by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, but there was a huge need. So German Aid thought it is most important to look after education, to support education for children, and then later on for the young Tibetans. And later on we recognized that also the elders needs help, because they are the first who came from Tibet and went through a very heavy hardship during their first years, so that we continued to help also the elderly, looked after the elderly. And beside this, we saw that it's necessary to build houses for the children, homes, as well as help to install health health worker stations, or maybe small hospitals. At that time they were very simple ones, but nowadays we have lots of hospitals we help also. So that was, I think, all the need. It was urgent in the beginning of our work, and we continues till now.
And it still is, right?
Yeah, still is, yeah.
So during your last many decades of experience, which particular aid do you think has been most helpful to the exiled Tibetans?
It is education, because when I travel now more than 35 years, I meet children in the last years who can say, I'm sponsored by German Aid, I'm now educated as a teacher, as a settlement officer, as sometimes as a headmaster. So I can see that the education was the most important, and we still need the children who grow up now. They are not anymore from Tibet, but they're born here, but they need the same help, and I think that is the future of them, and also I think of our world in total. So we still continues for this and look after the education. Not stop with the school up to 10 or 12th class, but also for further studies or higher studies. I think that this also requested nowadays.
So the life story of Imtrautweger, lovingly called by the Tibetans as Amaweger, has exemplified what a single person can achieve, right? So there are the Tibetans who know her, but many of us do not know her as a person. How was she as a person?
She was, very friendly, very open-minded, but on the other side, she came born in a part of Germany where the people are very stubborn, you know. And she was single-minded sometimes. If she wants to go through something, we were really strong to follow up. So, but it was very nice to work together, because she had her office in the south of Germany. I'm still working in Hamburg, so the cooperation was wonderful. So, including the visits to India, she every year visit India, one year to the south, because we had so many settlements, and the other year in the north. So we divided. The other time I went to the other direction, so it was a nice cooperation to make us able to see most of the settlements and the needs which we they found at that time. But she was and she was really strong. Her health was amazing.
Among the several education and welfare projects that are being carried out in the Tibetan settlements, is there any particular one that is closer to your heart or a little bit more special than the others?
Yes, that is. I think Mrs. Vega was the elder one than me, but I started to look after the elderlies, and at that time it was not so easy. It was easier to look for sponsorship for children, but not for elderlies. So I started to collect like fundraising and make understandable that elder Tibetans also need. And I luckily found a lot of could collect a lot of money and build an old people's home in Missouri. It was urgent needed. It's a Jeppeling old people home there. So, and when I inaugurated, I was lucky to come there for the inauguration. And then I saw the 30 people, Tibetans who come into, I never had seen such, so much joy and gratitude to these peoples. And I still, some, passed away because of this long time, but I'm still very close to this. It was so emotional to see this. I'll never forget it.
I was going to ask you this. You have spent your whole life providing for people who do not directly share, the same history as you, or the same political identity or culture or tradition. But you have dedicated more than 40 years of your life providing for them, right? What was your experiences with the Tibetans? Any emotional moment or any incident that still stays with you?
Where you came and they didn't know me, everywhere you are welcome. If you come, for example, to children villages, it opens your heart to see the children. They're enjoying their school, so it's a much different. And they say thank you. They don't know you as a foreigner, but they all are thankful. That is, I feel always happy to see that the things we try to help are fruitful. So that is, I think, one of the most emotional things everywhere. If it be the settlements or all the schools, TCV Home Foundation or Sambota schools, it's and that at home we are working very hard. Means whole day. Sometimes in the past it was also a weekend, but I never care of it because so many joy and gratitude comes back.
I do not want to make it sound like we're sending you away, but since you're officially retiring, at the gathering you said you will be still volunteering and working with the German Aid to Tibetans, right? What are your, let's say, parting words? First I'm thankful for the time I could help here for the nearly 40 years and for the support of our members and sponsors back in Germany. And I'm sure because my young staff will continue because Shimila is there since 2009 and Svenja, we have announced her as an executive manager. She is since 2011 there. So I'm sure they are family now to all the cases and all the belongs we have at Tibet, Deutsche Tibettv. So I'm there because something is requested. I will always be there. I will close, but I'm still there. I have a very good contact to important sponsors, and that's very personal contact. So I will still keep it on as long as these people want, and they are already introduced to the young ones. But I think for the Germans, they want to have a personal contact, not just to donate something. That's what I want to continue and to stay in the background. But I turn into 80 years now next year, so that's why I retire now. And but I think my young stuff will continue like we did before. But you will still be
I will be there, yeah.
Heidi, like any other Tibetan, all other Tibetans, exiled Tibetans, who are the beneficiary of the enormous support and aid that the German aids to Tibetans have provided, that you have undertaken an enormous role in doing so. I feel very honored to be sitting right next to you today and to have had this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you for coming to our studio and taking your time out for this interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was Heidi Meyer, the president of German Aid to Tibetans, with whom we had our In Conversation with Tibettv TV's episode today. Thank you for watching.